How should a Christian man behave in regards to self-defense, protecting your loved ones? This is a very good question. And one of my subscribers left a comment the other day in which he asked this. So I'm going to read this to all of you, and then we're going to break it down using some scripture. He says, "Hi Chris, I prefer to be called Christian since Christian is my name. What's your take on how born-again Christian men should act if someone is disrespecting them? As long as the disrespect does not escalate to physical threat or imminent danger to you or to those in your proximity, communicate like an adult. And if that person doesn't stop, you just simply remove yourself from the situation. Sometimes you have to implement self-control and maturity, be the bigger person. But if someone hits you, it becomes physical, then you do have a right to self-defense. I'll explain this in a second. He also said, what if someone disrespects their girlfriend or wife in front of them, including hits them? If someone is physically threatening, right, with the intention or actually does it, then of course you step in and defend your loved one. I mean, if you don't do that, you're not a man. It's common sense. He said, people say if you follow the Christian code, you end up looking like a softie, and people, including your girlfriend or wife, will lose respect for you. But on the other hand, that's not how God wants you to respond. Whoever told you that you end up looking like a softie? There are a lot of Christians out there that don't study their Bible. They don't actually follow what God says. Therefore, they don't really know how to behave. Understand, you can be a Christian and still be somebody who's insecure, you're weak, whatever happens to be, simply because you just walk around with the title that you're a Christian. But if you were actually behaving like a man, this would come natural to you. If someone's disrespecting your wife, she's being threatened physically, her life is in danger or your life is in danger, of course you step in and do something about it. It's common sense. He says, what are your thoughts on if men should learn to fight for self-defense and should they carry guns? Yes, men should fight and learn self-defense. And of course, if you live in a country where you can legally carry a firearm, you should. It's your right. And for any low testosterone individuals who disagree with this, ask anybody who grew up in Eastern Europe or in communism, and they'll tell you that they would have loved to have the possibility to carry a weapon. Because when there is a dictatorship or you're under communist rule, nobody has a right to self-defense. And that's when a government can come in, use their power and exploit you, take your life away, whatever they want. You can't do anything because you have no ability to defend yourself. So for my Americans watching, you never give up your guns. But if we go to the Bible, there are a few examples here in regards to self-defense that give us some insight into what God says about this. In the Old Testament, it says, if a thief be found breaking in, and he's smitten and then he dies, there shall be no blood shed for him. So if somebody walks into your home in the middle of the night, clearly they're not asking for a favor. They're entering because they want to steal, kill, or destroy. Regardless of what it is, they want to take something for themselves, which belongs to you. Not only is your home, whatever valuable items you have in danger, but the life of your loved ones, yourself included. If that's the case, this has given us an example. If this guy walks into your home, you smack him across the head with, a blunt object, or you use a weapon, you strike him down, and he dies. There's no blood to be shed for that person. You can walk away freely. That is the right to self-defense. Because that isn't murder. That isn't in cold blood. That is not out of vengeance. You are doing it out of self-preservation. Your life is threatened, or the ones of those that you love, who are under your care, if you're a husband, if you're a father. This is common sense. So yeah, as a man, you should learn self-defense or carry guns. That's the first example. He said, I've heard from the spiritual servant saying that as a born-again Christian, you shouldn't need to worry about this, that God will protect you. First of all, I don't know who the spiritual servant is, probably some YouTuber, but he said that this guy says that as a Christian man, you shouldn't worry about self-defense or carrying a gun because God will protect you. Now, for anybody who actually reads their Bible, you'd understand God does require that you work, that you do take action in your life, right? When David fought against Goliath, for example, he didn't just sit there and say, God, Lord, help me. Obviously, God works through people, but what did David do? He took action. He defended himself. God gave us free will to do, to act, to behave, to relate to one another, to make choices. If we didn't have free will, we would be robots. Then you'd be nothing more than a slave, right? So if you do have the right to free will, then it's up to you. The New Testament, the book of Luke 11 verse 21 states, when a strong man is armed, keepeth his palace, his goods are in peace. This means when a man is strong, in other words, trained in self-defense, or carries weapons to protect what's his, he keeps his palace, what is his home, and his goods are in peace. In other words, if you're a weak man and you're not trained in self-defense, or you have no firearms, how can you possibly defend your goods? Then they're not at peace, are they? They're in danger, they're at risk. Another example, that is your right to prepare yourself and protect what is yours. Very simple. He said, my thing is, what if someone breaks into a man's home? He can't just rely on God to protect him. Doesn't God say this as well in the Bible? Help yourself and I'll help you. Yes. So again, here's the example, Exodus. If a thief breaks into your home, you can do whatever you want. He ain't walking out. Second example, as just stated. Third example, Luke 22:36, and this is Jesus speaking. Then he said unto them, but now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one. For those of you that don't understand Old English, this is from the King James Version from the 1600s. So obviously, what he's saying is, if you have a purse, in other words, you carry money on you. If you have a scrip, this was like a document or a piece of paper that denoted the amount of money you had on you that you could sell for transactions back in the day. If you have any of this on you and you don't have a sword, sell your clothes, your cloak, something that's on you of value, and buy a sword, and buy one. That's Jesus himself stating this. Why? Because in the time of Christ, and of course this is referring to other time periods too, there will always be people out there who are going to threaten you. There's just evil, there's bad, there's sin in the world, and you have a right to defend yourself. Jesus was basically telling his disciples that you should all carry a sword to protect yourself. Not to go out there and hurting people out of self-interest, of vanity or vengeance, no. But defend your life if need be. That's the man himself saying it. And finally, Mark 3 verse 27 states, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, then he will spoil his house. Again, if you're somebody who's trained in self-defense, firearms, somebody enters your home, you are going to act in favor of protecting what is yours. So the only way a thief could enter is if he, ties the guy up. This is obviously referring to incapacitating the homeowner, and then he can enter and, take what he wants from the house. So again, you have a right to self-defense. It's very simple. I could have used more Bible verses, but I just chose these 4 to make it very simple. Because what he's saying is very obvious. I mean, if someone's breaking into your home, yeah, you can pray all you want, but God wants you to take action. There are moments when you are meant to act. You have free will. So those are my thoughts. Yeah, you should learn to fight for self-defense. And if you live in a country where you're able to, whether it's in Switzerland or you have a firearm license in another European nation. We have some restrictions here. We're in the US, and you can legally do it. There's a lot of good testimonials you can see online of men and women who have defended themselves or their loved ones when their life was threatened. And of course, the news and the media won't put that out there, will they? So, you do have a right to self-defense and carry a gun. And I think, really, realistically, every single man should, especially if you have a family. Those are the Bible verses. Very simple. And this other guy left a question here, Mike325. Christian, can you do a video about mummy and daddy issues that men can have? It would be really helpful for me to understand myself better, maybe. Thanks for everything, mate. Anyways, you're more than welcome, mate. And as per your request, I will prepare a video about this sometime next week. So guys, with that said, those are my thoughts. If somebody threatens your wife physically, she's in danger, you step in. If your life is threatened, step in. If you are in your home, your property, and somebody tries to break in, you do what is necessary because it's your right. With that said, I hope you'll have a wonderful day. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on this. God bless all of you and your families. I'll chat to you all in the next one.